going to be talking about is games as a service and how it's the way of the future. It's the future. It's the absolute future. You must understand and you must bow down to the games as a service overlord. And the reason why I say this is because there was some news that came out that people are obviously misconstrued as always per usual about Game Pass and about just about subscription models. So the producer of Guardians of the Galaxy, as you guys know, that was on Game Pass. They came out and all of these articles started off by saying, "Oh, so I guess it's Dustin as well from fucking IGN and Twitter as well." It starts off by saying this. He says, "Oh, well, I thought that people said that that the subscription services is is a bad thing or some shit like that." He goes on to say, and they all conveniently leave out what the whole, basically the whole phrasing is, and this is again per usual. This always fucking happens. Just like we believe in generations and the like. People always talk about the dumb shit. They find out what they like and then they just run with it. So they say that basically through Game Pass, Guardians of the Galaxy is finding a new audience, is what they say. And that's not what was actually, completely what was actually said. Like, not at all. So I'll read to you what was said. This is the thing that tripped me the fuck out. I'm like, all right, cool. So the guy says this. He says, for me, it's all about creating the game. What I love right now is that people, especially with Game Pass, are playing the game and they are sharing the experience. Does that sound like fucking profit or even revenue? Does that sound like it? No, because it isn't. He goes on to continue. We make games to touch people, and we make games that hit an audience. And it's great that it's finding its audience, and it's great that it keeps going forward. This is what Jean Francois Duga, I guess. He says it's like everything. We always want to sell trillions, but it's not always necessarily as easy as that. Which can actually, the funny thing is, you can go on Game Pass. You can talk about Game Pass like that. Things don't pan out that way. Now, here's the thing. I've had a conversation about the value of Game Pass and the value of subscription services. I had this particular conversation today, and people seem to think that the money that is made, if any, let's just be optimistic about it. If Game Pass is making money, or even PlayStation Plus, or any subscription services, keep it on gaming, not Netflix or anything else. But if it's making money, right, that doesn't necessarily translate over to the actual partners that's under there. The thing is, the biggest problem with subscription services, and I'll get to games as a service is what I'm referring to. The problem here with services, right, is that it'll make the service look good, but time and investment for the user that's on that service always makes the difference. It always makes the fucking difference. And that's what people are not understanding or not getting. If everyone, let's say for Game Pass, is going to choose to play, what's that fucking game called again? Everybody's Starfield. If everybody chooses to play that game, right, it'll bolster the numbers for Game Pass, but at the same time, the people who have the fodder or the lesser game, that's going to be looked at as well. And if people are not downloading the service or using this or buying the service for your game or not downloading your game, well, guess what that leaves you? That's not successful for you. So whatever budget that is allotted to you, you're not getting, or they're going to strip the fucking budget, period, point blank, which is what I'm not understanding. It makes a service look good, but ultimately you're either going to have to change the way you make your games to make a profit, right? Or you just won't be making games at all, and they're going to start stripping your fucking, uh, uh, stripping your games from the service anyway, or not giving you. You're not going to be able to make the game that you want to make anyway. That's the danger of it, because whatever is big is going to sell. Now, the hybrid version that Sony has that's going to be offered with the tier system with PlayStation Plus is it allows for people to purchase the game, and after it, it has its legs and it stops selling, then it can go on there, because ultimately the biggest problem with people, they keep saying that Game Pass has a lot of value, which means that it has a lot of games. That's not really the case. The argument was games day and date, you know, and it keeps flipping and flopping when you speak to people. They keep flipping and flopping. If it's a lot of games, or is it games? Is it a day and date? And what I finally figured out is that really it's just fanboy wars, because ultimately what's on PlayStation Plus, there's more games on PlayStation Plus, so it shouldn't even matter in that regard, right? That's what's going on. That's what I see that's going on here. Um, and it's just weird ass fucking people online that tries to paint these narratives, and they're just completely disingenuous. So what's going to end up happening with games as a service, that I believe, is that, and let me just read this off to you. Actually, not read it off. I already remember it. A, God of War sold 3 million in 1 week, and The Last of Us Part 2 sold like 4 million in 1 week. Right? We have those particular numbers. What do you call it? Assassin's Creed Valhalla, right? With all of the platforms that it was released on, do you know how much that fucking sold its first week? It sold 1.8 million with all of those fucking platforms, but it ended up selling much more, or getting a lot, or getting the revenue much more than all of those other games that sold a lot, right? Because they do microtransactions. You can buy outfits, they have the DLC and things like that. And I think Sony kind of realizes this. They see this. And what I see here with Sony is that they're going to end up making games in either a co-op capacity or multiplayer capacity. So you're going to get the core game for the old school people that are playing, and then a game's going to offshoot or branch off into either a cooperative or competitive, where it's going to be focused on microtransactions. And to be honest with you, I have no problem with that game's model. If that's what they want to do, I have no problem. Do you? I like it, because I still get to play the games that I play and not have to deal with people online. You know what I'm saying? There's so much evangelizing shit, you know what I'm saying? And people follow the same shitty practices. The same people that complain about games as a service and microtransactions are the same motherfuckers that keep buying Call of Duty, FIFA, and all those other shits every year. Or buying Nintendo games that are like 50 fucking dollars that are basically ports. So $60 really. That's the funny thing about it. It's funny when you see the hypocrisy of it all. But that's where Sony is going to go with their services. They are definitely going to use microtransactions and offshoot of their main games, and have you pay for that, and then put it on the service too, to bolster its value. That's what I see. You're gonna have like basically Horizon Forbidden West, a multiplayer Monster Hunter thing, and then people can go on with that one. But tell me what you think in the comments. I would definitely love to know what you guys think. That's what I believe.